When it comes to the wildest parties in the entertainment industry, few names spark as much curiosity and controversy as Sean Diddy Combs. For decades, whispers about his infamous late-night gatherings have circulated through Hollywood, with tales of extravagance, secrecy, and scandal. But now, two of the industry's most respected voices, Andre 3000 and Jamie Foxx, have allegedly spoken out about what they witnessed behind those velvet ropes. And what they revealed has left fans shocked, amused, and more curious than ever. Andre 3000, the reclusive genius of Outkast, is known for his honesty and eccentric charm. Jamie Foxx, meanwhile, has built a career on storytelling, whether through comedy, acting, or music. He always knows how to capture an audience. So when both men hinted at what really happens inside Diddy's notorious parties, the internet lit up like wildfire. According to their accounts, what goes down at Diddy's events is far more intense than anyone imagined. The laughter, the wild games, the unfiltered moments, all of it paints a picture that fans never expected to hear from two respected veterans of the industry. Blogs and social media couldn't get enough of the revelations. Fans started connecting. DOTs pulling up old interviews and rewatching clips where Foxx and Andre had dropped subtle hints in the past. And now, with their stories going viral, everyone is asking the same question. What really happens when the lights go down at a Diddy party? For years, the whispers about Diddy's legendary parties have circulated through the industry. They've been described as larger-than-life events, places where music royalty, Hollywood stars, and power players from every corner of entertainment gathered under one roof. From the outside, they seemed like harmless, fun, lavish mansions, champagne flowing and music blasting until the sunrise. But according to Andre 3000 and Jamie Foxx, there's a whole other side to these gatherings that the public never truly understood. Andre 3000, the enigmatic half of Outkast, has always been careful with his words. He rarely speaks, and when he does, it feels intentional. That's why fans were stunned when he casually hinted during a behind-the-scenes conversation that Diddy's parties were not the typical Hollywood get-togethers. "Man, you walk in there thinking it's just music and vibes," he said with a laugh, but then you realize real quick you've stepped into a whole different world. He didn't elaborate much, but the way he chuckled and raised his eyebrows left fans convinced he was holding back far juicier details. Jamie Foxx, on the other hand, is no stranger to storytelling. Known for his uncanny impersonations and wild Hollywood anecdotes, Foxx once told a story about attending a Diddy party that left his audience stunned. According to him, the atmosphere shifted at a certain point in the night after the drinks had been poured. After the lights dimmed, after the doors were closed, "You think you've seen wild," Foxx said, "but then you go to one of Puff's parties and you realize you ain't seen nothing yet." It was the way Foxx told it's a mix of humor, disbelief, and subtle warnings that made people lean in. He described strange games being played, situations that seemed innocent on the surface but quickly turned awkward. He imitated Diddy's voice, recounting moments where the hosts would encourage guests to loosen up and enjoy themselves. The audience laughed nervously, but everyone knew Foxx wasn't just making this up for comedy. There was truth in his performance, and that truth hinted at a wilder reality than anyone wanted to admit. Fans quickly pieced together old interviews where Foxx and Andre had dropped subtle hints before. A clip of Foxx from years earlier went viral, where he joked about some things you don't forget at Diddy's parties. Another resurfaced quote from Andre mentioned how the energy at those parties could flip at any second. When these clips were put side by side, they painted a picture of events that weren't just over the top. They were borderline surreal. Social media went into overdrive. On Twitter, users shared memes of people looking shocked as if they had just stepped into one of those parties themselves. On Instagram, gossip blogs speculated about what Foxx and Andre were holding back, with captions like, "Imagine what they knew. Didn't say on camera." YouTube channels uploaded long analysis videos, slowing down clips of the interviews, breaking down facial expressions. and asking, were these men trying to warn us about something deeper? The industry itself couldn't resist chiming in. Other artists and insiders dropped cryptic comments online, some confirming the vibe, others laughing it off as just Puff being Puff. But one thing was certain: once Andre 3000 and Jamie Foxx spoke up. The mystery of Diddy's infamous parties exploded into mainstream conversation like never before. And at the heart of it all was the unshakable feeling that both men were telling only part of the story. Their laughter, their hesitations, their knowing looks, it all suggested that what they revealed was only scratching the surface. If this was what they were willing to say out loud, then what else had they seen behind those velvet ropes? Buzz from Andre 3000 and Jamie Foxx's revelations didn't die down, it grew louder with each passing day. Fans were replaying their clips like detectives solving a mystery, searching for clues hidden in every smirk, every pause, and every nervous laugh. But if part one was the spark, part two was the firestorm. Because the more people dug, the more stories about Diddy's infamous gatherings began to surface. Jamie Foxx's impersonations became a major talking point. He once recalled how Diddy would suddenly change the vibe of the party when the clock struck a certain hour. It starts off normal music, dancing, good food, Foxx said, mimicking Puff's charismatic tone. Then Puff walks in like, all right, y'all, let's switch it up. And that's when things start getting different. Foxx didn't spell out everything, but his playful delivery had the audience gasping and laughing nervously, as though they knew he was telling the truth, but sugarcoating it for laughs. Andre 3000, though quieter, confirmed this strange energy without saying too much. In one candid moment, he admitted, "There are certain things you see at those parties. You just never talk about it again." Fans latched onto that line. What exactly was so shocking that even someone as private and thoughtful as Andre wouldn't dare to describe it? Hollywood insiders added fuel to the fire. A few unnamed sources told gossip outlets that Foxx and Andre weren't exaggerating. These parties were known for being invitation only, with heavy security and phones often confiscated at the door. What happened inside stayed inside unless someone like Foxx or Andre dropped a few breadcrumbs. The secrecy alone made the parties feel more suspicious. Why hide something if it's just harmless fun? The fan base split into two camps. Some argued that Foxx and Andre were just clowning, exaggerating the vibe for entertainment value. Others insisted they were dropping coded warnings. Twitter threads speculated that Hollywood's biggest names attended these gatherings, and that wild things went on once the cameras were gone. Memes circulated showing people entering Diddy's party looking normal, leaving in shock. Diddy himself, of course, wasn't blind to the chatter. Though he didn't address Foxx or Andre by name, he did post a cryptic message on his Instagram story around the same time the rumors went viral. It read, "People love to talk about what they don't understand. Keep my name in your mouth. Only makes me bigger." Fans immediately connected the dots, seeing it as his indirect response to the noise. Some took it as him brushing off the controversy. Others saw it as confirmation that he thrived on the attention. The drama got even messier when older footage resurfaced of other celebrities joking or half-joking about Diddy's late-night behavior. Clips of Usher and 50 Cent making sly remarks at his expense began trending again. Suddenly, it wasn't just Foxx and Andre fueling the story. It was a chorus of voices hinting at the same strange reality. Meanwhile, Jamie Foxx found himself at the center of the storm. While Andre's calm, cryptic remarks were intriguing, it was Foxx's over-the-top storytelling that kept the story alive. Every time his impersonation of Diddy went viral, the comments section exploded with fans debating whether he was simply being funny or confessing something real in disguise. As pressure mounted, Malcolm Jamal Warner and other actors who had crossed paths with both Foxx and Diddy were suddenly dragged into fan theories. Could they also have witnessed the same scenes? Was there an unspoken Hollywood code of silence being broken little by little? The speculation only added to Diddy's mystique. Parties already legendary in reputation were now viewed as forbidden. Grounds where secrets lived and reputations could be made, door destroyed, with Fox and Andre breaking their silence in their own way. Fans were convinced that the truth about these gatherings was far more explosive than anyone dared to fully reveal by now. It wasn't just gossip, it was a cultural moment. Fox and Andre had opened the door, and everyone was waiting to see if someone else would step through and tell the full story. By the time the smoke cleared from Andre 3000 and Jamie Foxx's revelations, the entertainment world was buzzing louder than ever. The whispers that had once been confined to Hollywood backrooms were now dominating the public stage. And whether they meant to or not, Andre and Jamie had pushed Diddy's notorious parties back into the spotlight in a way that couldn't be ignored. What made this moment explosive was the credibility of the messengers. Andre 3000 isn't the type to chase clout. His words carry weight because he rarely speaks at all. For him to even hint that Diddy's parties were something unforgettable and unspeakable meant fans took it seriously. Jamie Foxx, meanwhile, had a reputation as Hollywood's master storyteller. His tales were usually funny, lighthearted, and full of impersonations. But in between the jokes was a thread of uncomfortable truth that listeners couldn't ignore. The reactions were immediate and polarizing. Some fans laughed it off, treating it as nothing more than funny anecdotes. Others were convinced these two men had carefully lifted the veil on a culture of excess, secrecy, and power that Hollywood has always tried to hide. If they're saying this much in public, one fan tweeted, "Imagine what they're keeping to themselves." Blogs went into overdrive. Headlines blared. Fox and Andre break Hollywood's code of silence and what really goes down at Diddy's legendary parties. YouTube commentators posted hour-long breakdowns of old interviews, pointing to body language and offhand comments as evidence. On Instagram, influencers created viral skits acting out what they thought happened at these gatherings. Some silly, some sinister. And then came the fallout for Diddy. His name began trending daily. Not for his music, not for his business deals, but for the unanswered question, what exactly happens at his parties? Diddy tried to brush it off with cryptic posts about staying unbothered and living legendary. But his silence spoke volumes. The more he refused to address it directly, the more fans assumed the stories were true. Meanwhile, other celebrities who had once attended Diddy's events found themselves under scrutiny. Photos from old parties resurfaced with fans circling familiar faces in the background, speculating about what they had witnessed. Usher's past comments about staying at Diddy's house as a teenager were suddenly revisited with a new lens. 50 Cent's long history of throwing shade at Diddy was recirculated as if it were part of the puzzle. Jamie Foxx, despite his comedic approach, began to feel the weight of his words. He clarified in later conversations that he wasn't trying to expose anyone, just sharing funny stories. But by then, the damage or the revelation was already done. Fans weren't laughing anymore. They were demanding answers. Andre 3000, true to his quiet nature, refused to elaborate further, leaving the world hanging on the mystery. The cultural conversation shifted. What started as gossip about wild parties became a deeper discussion about Hollywood's hidden world. Blurred lines between power, secrecy, and indulgence. Fans debated whether these revelations were harmless entertainment or subtle warnings about something darker. Was it all just over-the-top partying? Or was there something more sinister being protected by silence? The legacy of Diddy's parties, once seen as symbols of wealth and success, was now tainted with suspicion. People no longer looked at them as glamorous events. They saw them as secretive, strange, and possibly dangerous. And it was Andre 3000 and Jamie Foxx, two unlikely voices who had cracked open that door. By the end, the truth remained elusive. No one had spelled out exactly what they saw, and maybe they never would. But what mattered was the shift in perception. The myth of Diddy's parties was no longer just about champagne and celebrity. It was about what happens when too much power, too much fame, and too much secrecy mix together. And while Diddy might never publicly address what really goes down, the curiosity will never die. Thanks to Andre and Jamie, the world now knows there's more to those legendary nights than anyone had imagined. And that mystery, that silence, might just be louder than any confession could ever be. Andre 3000 and Jamie Foxx may not have spilled every detail, but they said just enough to set the culture on fire. Their stories filled with laughter, SIDS, and cryptic hints pulled back the curtain on a world most fans could only imagine. And whether you think they were exaggerating for effect or carefully choosing their words to avoid saying too much, one thing is certain: Diddy's parties will never be seen the same way again. The mystery of those nights, the secrecy, the wild energy, it's all part of the legend now. But legends always leave us asking questions. Were these just over-the-top celebrity gatherings taken to the extreme? Or do Andre and Jamie know something much deeper? Something too wild for the public to handle? Their silence on the details only makes the curiosity stronger, and every time old clips resurface, the debate reignites. Now it's your turn. What do you think about what Andre 3000 and Jamie Foxx revealed? Do you believe they were warning us about something bigger? Or were they just entertaining the crowd with playful exaggeration? And most importantly, what do you think really goes down at a Diddy party once the lights dim and the doors close? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from you. And don't forget, if you want more deep dives into the shocking stories and untold secrets of hip-hop and Hollywood, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and share this video with your crew, because trust me, is only the beginning.